Hey guys, welcome to the review show. My name's Austin. The Wild Robot stars Lupita Nyong'o and Pedro Pascal. Shipwrecked on a deserted island, a robot named Roz must learn to adapt to its new surroundings. Building relationships with the native animals, Roz soon develops a parental bond with an orphan gosling. The past 2-3 years, DreamWorks have really been stepping up their game, and it's not like DreamWorks has always been bad or anything. They've just had a few hits or miss for the past couple of years. Lately, they've been putting out a lot of great stuff. Like I really like Puss in Boots, the recent Puss in Boots movie, and I forget the name of it. It's like The Robber or something. It's some form like another Zootopia movie, but just DreamWorks edition. Their new animation I've really liked. I think their animation looks amazing. It's better than whatever the Wish animation that Disney did, that CGI garbage crap. And this was something I was really looking forward to. The trailers seemed decent. I really liked the voice acting. Lupita Nyong'o, who was earlier in A Quiet Place Day One this year, is an amazing actor. You have Pedro Pascal as a fox named Sphinx, who I did not know who was in the film until like a couple of weeks before I went and saw it. And I was like, oh, Pedro Pascal, okay, interesting. We'll see how well he does. And he does a pretty good job, I would say. The voice acting in here is way better than the voice acting in Transformers 1, because the problem I have with voice acting now these days, none of them feel like they're the characters. All you picture is the voice actors in the film. When it comes to voice acting, is to separate your real self from the character to really feel immersive. And here it does work. And even though I know that Pedro Pascal was playing a fox, I honestly didn't picture Pedro Pascal. I was like, okay, that's a fox talking. This is a robot that gets stranded onto an island with a bunch of animals that have no humans on it. It's trying to find its purpose, and it's trying to fulfill its task, which is to help anyone in need. And next, it's supposed to go back to its factory. Since there's no humans on the island, it tries to serve these animals that it can't understand and doesn't understand that it's scared of them. So it eventually kind of starts learning each animal's language, so then it can be somewhat more useful. And so eventually, it comes across this goose called Brightbill, as like a little baby goose. The whole mission for this robot is to protect this goose till it's fully grown up, so then it can fly, eat on its own, and swim. So that becomes the whole robot's purpose, and to protect this goose. And also you have Pedro Pascal as Sphinx as there to help guide the robot, as well as teach the robot how this island, Mother Nature, and all of it works. And the movie does a nice job to get you set up to these characters and care somewhat about them. I never fully cared about them, even though I did have some form of emotions attached to these characters, but not like completely, because the movie did feel slightly rushed in some places. Like there's this conflict in the film that is immediately just looked over and just kind of like resolved immediately after it's even brought up. And I think fleshing out that conflict would have brought everything more home. Because at the beginning, after this robot finds this gosling, it does like some form of a time jump because the gosling is somewhat fully grown up. I have missed like a few months of like their, some form of bonding, or the build to this conflict being revealed a bit more. That this robot is not telling this gosling. So when the conflict is brought up, it's just kind of whatever. It doesn't really matter, especially when it's somewhat resolved in like 5 minutes later. So the movie has that struggle, and that struggle kind of reoccurs in the third act. There's this big sequence in the third act that I felt like doesn't need to be there, especially when it actually adds literally nothing to the film. It kind of honestly brings the film down a lot for me, even though I'm really enjoying the film. And I enjoyed the film a lot, but this third act kind of really brings it down, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What the conflict of the third act was just immediately undone after the conflict. So it's just like it didn't have any purpose being there. So I wish that they took out that sequence and added whatever runtime of that sequence to the beginning, building up their relationship with the wild robot, with the gosling and Sphinx, fleshing out that conflict and fleshing out their bonding one another. And next, maybe you can have a slightly minor little conflict in the third act to add tension. But at the end of the day, that taking out that final third act does not change the destination that they get to. And taking that out and replacing it with something else would have made the film a lot better, and I would have been more emotionally attached. Overall, though, besides those two big things, I enjoyed the film. I think kids will have a blast with watching this. It's really funny and it has dark humor too. There's one joke I'm like, oh shit, that's pretty messed up. I'm gonna give The Wild Robot a B minus. Had a really good time with the movie. Great animation, great voice acting, and I do think kids will come out wanting to watch it again. And this could be their own Wall-E type of film, and this could be their own open season type of movie too. That is what it kind of is. It's literally just Wall-E and DreamWorks open season. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. And like always, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.